Hello, I'm back with another video pretty quickly this time, and that's because I have a time-sensitive announcement for you guys, and it is about my new shop, which I finally managed to put together and am now opening up very soon on Tuesday, September 15th at 12 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is Toronto time, and that's where I'm from. Anyways, so I wanted to make this video to give you guys a brief update about what I've been up to lately, and to tell you why I've decided to move my store from Storenvy over to Shopify. It's something I actually wanted to do for the past maybe like 2 or 3 years, but I just never got around to it, and I guess being like a technically challenged person, to me the idea of having to move shop was so daunting that I just kind of left it until Storenvy got so bad that I pretty much just had to pull the trigger on it. So the first thing I wanted to tell you guys is kind of what I've been up to for the past couple of months. As you know, a couple of months ago I was super busy fulfilling the Kickstarter of my new art book, as well as the pre-orders off of my Storenvy shop. And basically while this was happening, I also was selling a bunch of books, and it was all very exciting, but it was also completely aggravating because of Storenvy and basically Storenvy just kept implementing new changes over the last few years, and they progressively got worse and worse, and I'll come back to this later. But aside from fulfilling the orders and being busy with like shipping and packing books, yes, I already went over this, I've just been working on a final pass for some character designs for a Netflix show that has been approved several months ago, and I'm so glad that the final design went through, and I think it's moving on to production now. I know I've never even mentioned anything like this before in any of my videos, because I'm not sure how much I can actually say with the NDA, because it's been under wraps for at least, well, probably like a couple of years at least. I don't know. I came on board to this project in the spring of last year, I think. But anyways, there's been so much progress recently, and a lot of work and a lot of deadlines, so I was pretty busy with that in particular, which is why I've been kind of away from YouTube for a little while now. And aside from that, I finally managed to make some really good progress with my own projects. So basically what I'm trying to accomplish in the background of all the other stuff, work-related stuff that I do, is I've been trying to rewrite the script for this comic that I've been working on since I was like in high school, in the middle of high school, and it's kind of been this ongoing passion project that I've been pretty stuck on, and I just refuse to let go of it. And lately I've finally been able to schedule in pretty frequent writing sessions. I mean, they're not particularly long, but in spite of that, I managed to make a lot of progress, and now I'm actually pretty confident that I can probably get it done. Like, it's hard to explain, but for the longest time, I was just too timid and too unsure about my ability to be able to come up with a story that would be interesting. I guess because I'm naturally more inclined toward like world building and just character focused stuff. But anyways, I don't want to get into the details of that, but I just wanted to let you guys know that I've actually made some really good progress with that lately, and I've even started to doodle my characters a little more, but I'll get back to that. So why am I making this video? Right, so I wanted to let you guys know why I decided to ditch Storenvy finally, and why I picked Shopify. And I just wanted to let you guys know again that my new store is going to be up and running on Tuesday. And the reason why I set a timer on it is because there is some stuff in my inventory that's pretty low stock, specifically the Sailor Moon stickers. Those are very low stocks. Like, some of them I have like a couple left, and I don't think I'm going to reprint those because I want to move further away from anything fan art related. Like, even though the Sailor Moon stickers that I did, like, I mean, they are technically still fan art, but they are pretty different because it's like an entirely different look / take on it. But I still wanted to kind of slowly move away from relying on any other existing IP and mostly just focusing on my own stuff. But yeah, so those are kind of low in stock. And also my first art book called In Absentia. I'm super happy that, oh my god, what is wrong with my voice? I'm super happy that it's been selling pretty well. It's been a few years since I released it, but it's now running very low. I think I'm on the last box. I think there might be one more box. I'm not 100% sure, but for now I'm like, I couldn't find the last time I looked. So I'm just operating under the assumption that I'm on the last box of it, which is 40 copies. And that's probably gonna go pretty quick, so I just wanted to give you guys a heads up that that book is almost done. And then it's gonna be probably quite some time before I'm able to reprint it, because I'm only going to do that when I decide to print another book. So it'll be some time, because I'm right now I'm not even 100% sure what the next book will be. But yeah, so with that, oh yeah, and obviously I keep forgetting to mention a very important thing, is that there's going to be a 15% discount store-wide and a bunch of free shipping discounts over a certain purchase amount. But I'm going to make a community post about the details of my store. So yeah, I just wanted to also make sure to mention it in the video, because I'm honestly just so terrible at advertising, which is why I always have a hard time, like, just getting over myself and actually telling people about the fact that I have a store. Like, some people don't even know. Anyways, yeah, so moving on. Okay, so I'm gonna go over the reasons why I decided to ditch Storenvy. 7 minutes into this video. Jesus Christ. Okay, so I just wanted to start with the disclaimer that all this information is, like, I'm not too big on research. Like, I obviously did some due diligence, but I'm mostly going to be talking directly about the experience that I've had with Storenvy. And it's not going to be a direct comparison with Shopify, because so far the only stuff that I've done with Shopify is set up my store and just set everything up. I haven't actually made any sales yet, obviously, because I haven't opened up the store. So this is not going to be like a pro-con comparison. It's going to be more of like a casual discussion of what drove me away from Storenvy eventually, and I'll also tell you guys why I picked Storenvy in the first place and why I specifically chose Shopify to migrate to. Okay, so again, disclaimer, I'm also really terrible with technology, and I often just run into problems and I get super frustrated super quickly when I have to deal with some sort of technology issue, or like a website issue where something is not working and I don't know how to make it work. And so that's the reason why I'm like not inclined to try out new stuff. In fact, I am super stuck to the stuff that I'm used to, which is why I predominantly still use Photoshop. I only use Adobe programs for other stuff because of the similarity in the interface, and I was never able to get into using my iPad or Procreate or anything. So yeah, I'm just one of those people. So keep that in mind. Like, these things can be a little extra obnoxious to me, which is why I actually ended up putting up with Storenvy for so long. I think it's pretty common for people to feel lost when they're just starting to create their little online business or figuring out how to become an artist that makes products and sells products. So I was in that boat some years ago, and to a certain degree I still am, because I don't know, I guess being business oriented is something that I really had to kind of force on myself, because I fully understand the importance of it, and unfortunately I don't think I'm naturally inclined to think in that sort of way, but I feel like I've made pretty good progress over the years. So anyways, I wanted to say a special thank you to one of my friends. I don't know if she's gonna ever see this video or anything, but you guys might know this artist. Her name is Shilin, and she has an online comic called Carsophona, and honestly for so many years she's been such a huge inspiration to me, because her career path, or like the stuff that she's doing, like her occupation, is pretty much exactly what I want to do. So she predominantly works on her own comic, and she does some client work occasionally here and there, only for things that she really loves. And she just runs her own store and makes a ton of books, and she's an extremely hard worker and like one of the nicest and kindest people I've ever met, because she really helped me out a lot in so many ways, like at many different points throughout my art career. And yeah, I'm just super grateful to have her as a friend and as kind of like a mentor, I guess, too, because she just helped me out so much. Anyways, so I actually started with Storenvy because I saw that she had a Storenvy, so I kind of really looked to her for like how she set up her business and all that other stuff, and actually asked her a lot about like how to make an art book and all that other stuff. But anyways, so that's kind of just how I landed on Storenvy to begin with. But this was many years ago, where there weren't like that many other options available. I do think that Etsy probably was around, but I don't think it was as popular in the art community at the time, so I hadn't considered Etsy. And because I kind of wanted to have a jumping off point and somebody to ask about these things, I just picked Storenvy because I knew somebody who had it. And so I fumbled around and figured it out. I've had it for so long that I barely even remember what the setup process was like, but I do remember that when I did join it, it was quite different than how it is now. And so I just wanted to quickly go over the things that changed over the years that slowly turned me off more and more from using Storenvy. So I don't know if you guys know, but the biggest difference between Storenvy and Shopify is that Storenvy is kind of like, I would say Storenvy is kind of like a hybrid between Shopify and Etsy, because you do have your own kind of custom looking storefront that's not obviously a part of another website for Storenvy, and I really liked that about it, so that's why I chose to join it. Whereas in comparison, I think Etsy is more clearly, like, even if you have a somewhat custom storefront, it still appears to be very clearly part of Etsy, and it's integrated into the Etsy website, which is, so you're just constantly under that umbrella. But I do think Etsy is actually a lot better at driving sales for people. I don't have any experiences with it because I don't have an Etsy store, but from a lot of the reviews and stuff and videos that I've watched when I was trying to make a decision where to migrate to, a lot of people say that Etsy is very good for driving sales for you. And although Storenvy also has a marketplace, I think Storenvy is just terrible. And I do get the odd marketplace sale here and there, but I really question it, and I'm gonna get into why a little bit later. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is basically like the changes over time, and how there, in my opinion, there's a lot of signs that Storenvy is a dying platform and that not a lot of people are using it, and I think they're clearly having trouble sustaining themselves. I could be wrong about this. It's just an opinion based on the changes that they've been implementing over the past few years. And so basically, the first big major thing that I noticed that they implemented that really rubbed me the wrong way was they introduced these quote-unquote handling fees for each purchase, so for each order. And these handling fees are pretty ridiculous. They're like, so for orders around $10 or like under $10 is actually 10%, so it's $1. And for $100 and up, I think it just scales down slightly, but the smallest percentage that they charge is basically 5%, which is still pretty damn high. It's like $5 off of a $100 order, because especially take into consideration that there's other fees involved as well. So this isn't even the only fee, and they just randomly implemented that. And what's annoying about this is that you have a choice of either hiding it in the price of your so this is purely relating to your custom storefront order. So that would be the storefront that I direct all my customers to. So you could have a choice between them charging this as a handling fee, which is ridiculous, at the checkout, or you can choose to hide it in your price, and then you just have to pay a flat 6% off of each order, which I thought was like a really ridiculous thing to implement, especially because there's this weird convoluted transaction nightmare that happens on the back end in PayPal, because I predominantly use PayPal because I've used Stripe for a little while, but I felt like Stripe fees were out of control, so I just like totally disconnected that and gave up on it. But so I use PayPal predominantly for everything, and so what happens is once the order goes through, the Storenvy charges the $2.99 or whatever, or up to $4.99 their fees, like up to $5 or whatever, that the customer gets charged upon checkout, and the lump sum gets deposited into your account, and then immediately you pay the fee. Like there's an automatic charge that you have to pay to Storenvy as a separate charge. So I mean, I don't know if I'm explaining this correctly, but as you can tell, like, it's pretty convoluted, and it's really annoying to have like a million of these micro transaction pile up. Not that I get that many sales, but you know what I mean. It's just like, it really clutters the feed, and I think it's incredibly annoying that they do that. It's just so many microtransactions. I'm sure, well, because every transaction has fees on PayPal. I just try to keep myself in the dark about that, because I just don't want to know how much money I'm losing off of every sale just from PayPal transactions as well. But it's like it's a substantial amount, and with all these tiny transactions happening, I'm sure that racks up as well, and it also really clutters the feed, so it makes it confusing to go through for like tax purposes and just like trying to keep track of what's going on. And I think there could have been a better way for them to implement that, but clearly they failed. Anyways, I feel like I've been stuck on this one point, the first point, for so long. But so that was the first obnoxious thing that really rubbed me the wrong way. And then aside from that, I'll just briefly go over the other things that I don't like about it. So there's, obviously I mentioned Stripe that had a lot of transaction fees that I ended up just ditching, and there's no native Storenvy like way to take money. I don't know what I'm talking about, so I'm just gonna skip this. Basically, PayPal was the only viable option for me, which is fine. It's not like the worst thing in the world, but it would have been nice to give people other options, I guess. Anyways, the shipping rate setup system is absolutely awful, because and this ties into they basically, Storenvy has a limited product description input, so when you put a new product up, you can't put in the weight. So Storenvy does no weight calculations for you whatsoever, and that actually makes it pretty difficult to charge shipping, especially internationally, because like when I send international packages, and books can be quite heavy, you pay an extra $1 for every 0.1 pound increase, right? So like that's a substantial difference. Like if you can have like 0.5 pound increase, like that's $5 on top of like the 15 that they charge as a base fee for sending an international package, and this is without tracking. So it can get quite expensive, in the fact that you can't have different shipping fee charge options in the store. Whatever, I'm not going to talk about this for very long, but basically it's just a very stupid and limited shipping rate setup system, and I've had trouble with it. Basically, I like lose money on charging shipping because I don't want to charge people a crazy amount, but there's only so much I can do to set it up in a coherent way. So there's that I don't like about it. And there appears to be no access as a store owner to the people that watch your store. That's like a feature that Storenvy has, because apparently Storenvy has a feed that you get, and I don't really use it myself to purchase stuff from other people, so I don't really know what it's like on the customer's end, but apparently you can watch a store and then it'll show you their new products will apparently appear on your feed. But the thing that really irritates me as a store owner is that essentially when a person watches your store, that should be the equivalent of a subscriber. So there should be some sort of mailing list built into the platform, because it would only make sense. Like, choosing to subscribe means a person wants to be notified of your new products and whatever news your store might have, but you actually don't have a mailing list, and you can't send a newsletter out to customers. So you can't send a mass update to your customers. You can't let them know about a discount. It's super annoying that you can't do that, like, within the Storenvy structure. So there's that. Shopify has that built in, which is fantastic, and I'm really excited to actually start using that. And then there's also, like, Storenvy tries to peddle itself as free, and it is technically, like, you can... Is it though? I mean, actually, it's not even free. Like, if there's a handling fee off of each store front purchase, then it's not even free. So I don't know what they mean when they say that it's free. Like, I guess it's kind of just like a misleading statement that they make constantly everywhere if you look up Storenvy, because if you want the most basic feature, like being able to give your customers a discount code, you already have to pay for that. So essentially nothing is really free. Like, as far as I know, the only thing that has no limitations is... Oh, actually, never mind, they have product limitations too. So, like, you are limited to how many products you can upload as well, and you have to pay. Like, there's a monthly fee for like up to $35 or something. I don't know. Anyway, so it's not free, even though it tries to pretend to be. And what makes it really irritating is that there's a lot of random fees from different places in Storenvy, so it's hard to gauge how much it actually costs to keep up this store. And so I'm pretty much getting... Oh yeah, well, I also want to mention that one of the most annoying things about Storenvy that I found over the years is that apparently people can't use 2 discount codes at the same time, which is like, what? It's crazy that you can't do that. And maybe there's some sort of other way to implement, like, because the shipping setup system is so confusing. I guess there's probably a way to set up free shipping past a certain amount in the back end, but I couldn't figure out how to do that. And you can't... So I tried to have a discount code, which is like, for instance, I wanted to have one where over 100 purchases within the US can get free shipping, but I couldn't have that at the same time as like a 10% or 15% off the entire time, which I thought was nuts, because literally like every store that I shop from has that feature where, like, you obviously want to reward the customers that spend a lot of money at your store. And so I don't understand why Storenvy would have a limit to one discount code at a time, when there's no obvious way to give people free shipping past a certain amount of dollars, right? Which is crazy. And again, I'm gonna say that maybe it's just because I'm technologically challenged, like I couldn't find the way to do it, but it was not obvious, and it really should be. And when I actually contacted the staff and asked them if I can do this somehow, I got basically no help. They just said that, nope, you can't do that. You can't have more than 2 discounts at once. It's like, okay, thanks for nothing. So I'm gonna call that shitty customer service. Anyways, yeah, so, and I'm finally getting to the thing that pushed me over the edge with Storenvy, and that was when they implemented this bogus charge of 15, I think they say 15%, but I swear to God it's higher than that. It's even higher than 15%, but let's just go, whatever. Let's say 15% commission fee is what they charge from quote-unquote marketplace sales. Or, which is even more obnoxious, they will still charge the commission fee from customers who quote-unquote originally connected to your store through the marketplace, allegedly. And the reason why I say allegedly, and the reason why I'm so skeptical about this, is that it seems like there's something very suspicious about it to me. As a person who, like I'm a creator who, obviously I put a lot of work into building my own brand on social media, and I basically bring in all my own customers from outside of Storenvy, so I have very little need for a marketplace feature or whatever. Like, just, I don't even need to be in the marketplace, but there is no option to opt out of it. And I don't care about that one customer that might find me through marketplace, because my general attitude towards the product that I sell is that I only want people who really like them to buy them, and I would rather not have a random person who's like, oh, what's this? It looks interesting. Sure, I'll check it out type of purchase. I don't know, I guess that's a weird attitude to have, but it's like, it just reminds me of like when somebody would randomly be like, oh, hey, do you want this book? It's like, no, I don't know, like, why? Okay, this is a weird tangent that has nothing to do with anything, and I'm not gonna continue on that. So moving on, the point that I was trying to make is that, like, I would really like to have the option to opt out of the marketplace, because I've noticed that I do make a alleged marketplace sale here and there, which I get charged a lot for, and it's like these fees really rack up. You know what I mean? Like, if I would do the math on all the fees that I paid to Storenvy, it would easily, sometimes, some months, it would be like up to $100, like, is what I end up paying for this service, which makes no sense, because they just charge such high fees, and their hidden fees are just everywhere, right? And this isn't even counting the charges from PayPal from each transaction. But, so let me explain why I think this is such a problematic change of events. I think the only reason why they implemented this bogus charge of 15% commission fee is because they're probably dying. Like, they're probably just losing customers, and less people are probably using the platform. Otherwise, I don't see why they would use such a gross tactic on their customers, which are like the shop owners, all of a sudden. Because for someone like me who brings most of my own customers, I don't even like see, the reason why I keep bringing up the fact that I bring most of my own customers, is that on multiple occasions I have seen people purchase allegedly from the marketplace that I got charged a 15% commission fee on that sale, even though the customer is somebody I recognize from Instagram. So I know that they found me through Instagram or from one of my other social media platforms, and some of the customers, like, it's clear that there's something wrong there. I think maybe what happens is perhaps somebody Googles my store when they want to make a purchase, and the first thing that comes up for them maybe is the marketplace store and not my custom front store. And my theory is that's how I get charged such crazy percentages on some sales, like more frequently than you'd think. And also the fact that I can't just I don't have the option to just remove my store from the Storenvy marketplace is really obnoxious. And plus, like, apparently somebody just needs to quote unquote connect to my store through the marketplace in order for them, like, if they come back later to make a purchase, I'll still get charged a 15% commission fee, and it's totally unfair. Like, it makes no sense. And the reason why I'm even more suspicious off of this is because randomly a couple of months ago, Storenvy featured my shop on their front page. So, like, if you go to storenvy.com, the top left banner that they have was my shop. It was super random. Nobody contacted me about this. Like, nobody said anything, which is fine. Like, I didn't expect notice or anything, but say whatever. They made their own banner, and technically that's free advertising, so it's not like I was upset about it or anything. It was kind of a pleasant surprise. And but, you know, I was curious about what it would actually do, and guess what? It did absolutely nothing. This feature was also up for like a solid month. Like, every time I logged into Storenvy, I saw that the banner was still up, and I don't understand how having a feature on the front page of a store of the website resulted in like no influx of sales whatsoever, which is why I'm so suspicious about this 15% commission fee from the marketplace sales, because like the marketplace is useless, and I feel like it's just a ploy to get the customers that are finding my store through random means. Like, instead of clicking the direct link. And I think sometimes even there might be something wrong with the direct link, because I've seen a couple of comments before on my Instagram where people are like, oh, this price is higher, like it's not what you said, even though because they found my store somehow through the marketplace, because I put raised prices in the marketplace because I want to avoid paying 15% to Storenvy for no reason. And so I have no idea how this happens, and it was getting completely out of hand. So this is why I finally decided to make the switch, and this video is getting super long, so I'm just gonna wrap it up real quick and I'll tell you guys why I went with Shopify. So basically, Shopify is described as a more suitable platform for independent brands that just want to focus on building their brand, and that's essentially what I want to do. I don't really feel like I need a marketplace, because I do try to bring in my own customers, and thankfully I'm really grateful to you guys. There are a lot of you, and there's a lot of people that come back and purchase more stuff, so that's been amazing. And I really wanted to have a platform where I can have more options for giving people discounts and such, and hopefully in the future I want to explore some options for people like frequent purchasers, customers that come back. Like I want to give custom or like I guess exclusive discounts to those people as well, because it's really important to me to be able to reward people that support me, and Shopify seemed to be really good for that. And I obviously did like a fair amount of research, and as far as I can tell, Shopify just has the monthly fee for this basic plan that includes just about everything that I need, and all their transaction fees appear to be under 3.5%, which is pretty good and is much better than Storenvy. So yeah, and obviously another thing I really liked is there's a lot more customization options, and even though I had a hell of a hard time trying to customize my store because I'm just technologically really slow, I was able to eventually figure it out, and I went with like kind of a simple type of approach anyways. And yeah, I think my new shop looks really nice, much nicer than my previous one, and I'm really excited to launch it on Tuesday. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much everything that I wanted to say, and I wanted to thank you guys for watching my YouTube videos, and I'm really happy with the YouTube community, and I'm hoping to put more time into it and maybe get some better equipment as well, and make more different types of videos like vlogs and such. It's still something I want to keep trying out. But yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video, I guess. And please check out my shop when it opens, even just to see what it looks like, because I'm super excited about it, because I took a bunch of new product photos and I think they look much nicer than my previous ones. But yeah, okay, bye.